stereotype is you got to get up and stand up and say it ain't about color, it ain't about gender, but it's about the power that God has blessed me with. Look at somebody and tell them, I can do anything I put my mind to if my mind is stayed on Jesus. Oh, I wish I had about 300 sanctified folks that would leap to your feet and say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. You got to understand that the enemy will send an Elkanah to tell you you ought to stay in the building you're in. You ought to thank God for the few folks you got. Ain't no sense in putting money into the vision. Be happy. God has blessed you. But there's some of us we can't settle. They call us bougie. They tried to call us conceited. Tell somebody, I'm not conceited. I'm convinced that what God said He's going to do, He's going to do it, and I just happen to want mine now. I don't want to wait another day. I want it now. And if I continue talking to you, I'm going to acclimate to your mindset. Look at somebody and tell them, I can't do it. I can't do it. I got to go to a higher place in God. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, Samuel is coming. Now you got to understand that when I say Samuel is coming, many of you think that I'm speaking about the boy child. The word Samuel means I have asked of God. Samuel tonight means whatever you have prayed for and have asked God for. I came by to tell you Samuel is coming. And I know that right now it seems like it is not coming your way. But here's what you've got to realize. God is delaying it for a reason. I asked God, I said, God, in your word declares that you closed up Hannah's womb. Why would you close up the good woman's womb and allow Peninnah, the adversary, to be the one that is fertile? I don't understand, Lord. Leah was the ugly one, but you let her have all the children. Rachel was beautiful. You only give her 2 and she dies on the second. I'm trying to figure out, God, why is it that you put us in positions like this and then tell us to continue to believe you, worship you until it comes? Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, my Samuel is coming, my Samuel is coming. And so, Pastor, I talked to the Lord on today, and I asked him, I said, God, I've been reading this for years. I want to know why. I'm not going to make up nothing. I'm not trying to go through all the medical mumbo jumbo. I'm not going through any of that. God, I want to know why you close up her womb. And the Lord spoke to me clearly in my room this afternoon, and he said, what you've got to understand that some of the things that my people are getting ready to give birth to is so great in the earth, and it won't be just, watch this, for one purpose, but it will be for a dual purpose. He said, I've got to let their desperation make a vow that captures my heart, because it is in your desperation that you will make a vow to God that you would have not ordinarily made, that will then capture his heart. It is then that what you want so bad, if you don't, watch this, look at somebody and tell him, if he just gives it to me, I'll take it and keep going. But if he takes a long time, I'll tell him, God, if you just give it to me, I'll give it back to you. You can do whatever you want. Y'all don't want to help me. And God says, then I know that the thing that I'm going to bless you with will not become your God, but it will become a thing that will bless me. Look at 3 people in here and tell them, say, neighbor, what God's getting ready to give me, it ain't just going to bless my house, but it's going to bless the city. It's going to bless my family. It's going to bless my, oh, y'all don't want to help me. It's going to bless the nation. Open your mouth and say hallelujah. It's just like a good cook. Watch somebody who can fry chicken in 5 minutes. Tell you come to the table, dinner's ready. It don't taste good because it's not done. Somebody gonna get this in a minute. But you ever went to grandma's house? It looked like she was in the kitchen all day. And some of you go in the kitchen and say, Grandma, is the food ready? She said, not yet, baby. Grandma, can I look at the cake in the oven? No, because if you open it too early, it's going to fall. But if you wait until dinner's ready, Grandma give you all that you want. Y'all want to help me. And what the Lord is saying here, he said, I had to push Hannah to a place of desperation because up until this point, she had a desire, but her desire was that just of a woman. But I had to push her to a point that she forgot being just a woman, and she became a worshiper, where she left out of her flesh and said, not about me, but Lord, if you give this to me, this will be for your glory. Look at somebody and tell them you're asking him for it wrong. You want a new car because you want to make some family members mad because they didn't give you a ride last week. Some of you want a house so you can lay up and do something you ain't got no business. But God said, when you ask me for something that will give me the glory, something that will cause you to move out of yourself into another place, into another dimension, then you move me in the heavens and I will give you your heart's desire. Look at somebody and tell them, say, neighbor, Samuel is coming. The Bible said now here that she goes to the temple. Now what you got to understand is when you're seeking God for something and you want it real bad, and what God has for you is not, watch this, it's not unipurposed, but it's dual-minded. Sometimes folks can't understand you. Even in the church they don't understand you because she went to her pastor and her pastor looked at her and said, you must be drunk. But Hannah said, I'm not drunk, but I'm in a place where I've left the etiquette of femininity. I've left the protocol of womanhood. Have you ever got so desperate that you wanted something so bad? Can I talk to some worshipers in here? You forgot about your weave, forgot about your dress being a little shorter than it ought to be, and when you got to the house of God, you said, I need the all I need. Is there anybody in here that has ever had a loved one in the hospital at the point of death? Maybe it was a child, maybe it was your mama or daddy. You forgot all about the cigarette that you were smoking before you came in, forgot about the liquor that would have given you that edge, and you said, forget all of this. I need the Lord to work a miracle. No more I, but him inside. Tell somebody Samuel is coming. What God is saying in this season, he's saying, I need some folks that's going to step out of their cells, that's going to make me a covenantal promise that whatever I give them, they're going to give it back to me. Most of our blessings are tied up because God can't trust us, because when he gives it to us, we make an idol out of it. When God gives it to us, we get high-minded and heady. But God, he's saying tonight, he said, I made you and I know all about you. Say, God told me the date. He said, before I allowed Hannah to come, Hannah wanted a baby just because she was angry with Peninnah.